Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to take a look at how to create this particular ticket performance dashboard, as you can see on my screen right here. So it's very interactive and I'm going to show you how to create everything from the scratch. So I have provided a link for you to actually come to this particular website called novipro.com to take a look at how this dashboard is being created and look at how you can navigate through it to see every single thing we have done right here. So if you want to create a very beautiful dashboard just like this and you want to learn, this is the right YouTube channel to actually learn from. The data set used in this particular tutorial is gotten from this particular fpanalytics.com. So you can come right here and actually grab it, or you can download the one I actually provided for you. It's the most completed one because they have taken some part of it off from here after the challenge actually ended. All right, so if you want to actually play around with most of the data right here, you can actually click on the download and get the data set downloaded to your system, and you can start practicing ASAP. Okay, about the data set right here, you can actually get this PDF from me and read through it to see what they actually want you to do to actually get insight into the data you have actually downloaded. So if you scroll down a little bit, you can see the brief of this challenge right here. I'm not going to read through this because we're going to be going through this to create our dashboard step by step. So don't forget to actually open this down as we're actually creating from the scratch. So if you have been following me on YouTube and you have not actually subscribed to my YouTube channel, this is the best time to do that. And if you have, leave a comment to say thank you and actually hit the like button, share to your friends, and now let's get into it. Okay, we have a clean PBIX here. Nothing is on it. We are just going to get our data for the first time. So we have lots of ways to connect to data. So let's go ahead and click on this import data from Excel. So here is our data. We choose the English version. So just double click on this one and that will definitely go into Power Query for us. Okay, here we go. We can just make a choice of this ticket and this agent. So for those two, don't bother about them. They are still the same thing, but just go with these two. So don't load. When you load, you're loading to Power BI. So we're going to click on transform data for we to get this into Power Query. We now have the two tables here. So we have the agents and we have the tickets. So let us start with the IT agent right here. So what is the question? So we're going to go back to our PDF right here and we're starting with the IT. So we scroll down a little bit. So here it says column full name to be splitted into two columns, name and last name, which means we have name and we have last name. So we can decide to put it first name and last name. So where last name is missing, to be obtained from the email address column. So we're going for this. Let's do it. Okay. We have this name combined together, so they want us to split it just for we to learn. That is exactly what it is. They want to test our ability of transformation. So let's do that. How can we go about this? So to get that done, what we need to do is to be on home and we'll look for where it says split column. So when we are here, we have the different ways to split this column. So I'm going to choose by delimiter here. So using by delimiter, my delimiter is space, and I'm going to say at each occurrence. So if I click on OK, let's see what we have. So we have it splitted into two. So now what do we have? Let's go back to our guide here. So it says, so column 2, name and last name. So where last name is missing. So definitely if it says where last name is missing, here is our last name. Quickly we rename it to last name, and we come over here and name this one to first name or name, whatever you want to use. So first name here. Okay, nicely done. So as you can see, this name here is missing, this one is missing, and this one is missing. So how can we get them from our email? So let us first of all delete this one. We don't want it, so we can have it deleted. So just click on remove column. So remove the column. So in our email, so we have the name we are looking for here in this email. So we need to actually get it, right? So over here, we have it as well. If we scroll down, we have it over here. We need to extract it from here. So remember, this one here is part of this. So we are going to extract from Leon. This Leon is what we need to have here. So how do we do that? So what you need to do now is to go to add column, because we don't want to affect this. We want to keep it, keep the same thing, but we want to actually extract something from here. In add column, we go to extract. So from extract, what we do, we go to texts between. This is it, text between delimiters. So now we need to actually know what are the delimiters we need to extract from. So now here we want to extract torus, and the torus is sitting between dot and at. So the first delimiter is your dot or full stop. Then the second delimiter is your at. Then once we have done that, we click on OK. So let's scroll to the right hand corner. You can now see we have it here. So can we move this? Of course we can. So just go ahead and say move to the beginning. So that has been moved over here for us. So we can just position it over here for we to see what we want to get. Okay. Now we have this. The next thing to do now is to actually make sure we bring this one into here. And how can we do that? So to solve this problem, we need to go from, go to add column. So we're going to add a new column. So after we have done that, we can remove those two columns from here. So going to add column, go to conditional column here. So we have different way of doing this. It depends. So what I'm going to do right now is to come here. I wouldn't name this one for the first time, or I can name this one without space. I'm going to put last name to differentiate it with the previous one. So here I'm going to use the if this particular last name here is equal to null. It's case sensitive, so you have to know what null you have here is both on lower cases. So it's equal to null. So what we want now, we want to retrieve this from here, from text between delimiter, which is this particular one. So before we fix it finally, let us get exactly what this would give us. So I'm going to go over here and click on OK. And we have extracted this. In case you want to see this better, let me just move it over here. So let's get it. So now can you see it now? We have extracted all of this null, what is actually going to be right here, right? So the next thing now, let's click back to this part here to edit it. So now, if that is not, we want to actually, which means if it is not null, we want to fill. If you look at it now, what we have over here, let me show you before we do that. I just want you to get a full understanding of what I'm doing. So if you look at here, we have all these nulls. To fill all this null with all of these that are existing here, so we have to go back here. Then we come here under the else, we choose select a column, and we choose for last, I think that will be our last name. So we choose our last name here. So we choose last name. So we want to fill it with the last name. The last name is the one that has space between it. So now if I click on OK, fixed for me. So I can go over here. Right now we have our last name the way it is. So I can just go ahead now and have those two removed. We don't need them. So they are gone. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make sure I just make sure the text, the data type is text, and that is done for me, right? So I have my first name and I have my last name. So I think you need to clap. We need to clap ourselves right here because we've done something good. Let's get back here and look at what is the next tags. So name and last name column must be capitalized, first words and trim. Okay, let's do that. So as you can see, they're both in small letters. In case you don't know, the difference between this one and this one is this. This one here override what we have here, while this one wouldn't overwrite it. So we just need to create a new column. So for that, we don't want to create a new column. We can actually select all of them. So go to transform here, and we go to this particular format, and we use capitalize each word. So we have it fixed. So if you look at it, we have it fixed. So let's see that. So it has done that for us. So for every places where we don't have capital letter, it has actually fixed it for us. So let us look at what is next again. So over here, it says year, month, date of birth must be in column, right? So let's us look at what exactly is talking about here. So I'm going to go over to Power Query. So we go over here, and as you can see, we have them in different columns. How can we fix them? This one is very simple. All you have to do is to actually identify which is, it depends on the country where you're from. Okay, right now, I'm gonna first of all click on my year, hold my control key, click on the month of birth, and finally the day of birth. So all I have to do is not for me to add a new column, but just go to transform to actually merge this together. So you can see merge column here, or you can decide to right click and you scroll down a little bit, you find the same thing over here. So they're about the same thing. So when you right click, whatever you see here works under transform, not add column. So I'm just going to do this. So it's going to ask for delimiter. So my delimiter now will be custom. So I'm going to place my delimiter myself. So you see this, right? So you want to give the name as date of birth. Okay, so I wrote data, sorry for that. So I'm going to put E. Then we go ahead and click on OK. Can you see that now? So this is formatted as a text. So let us transform it to what? To date formatting, and 100% correct. So you can see we have just corrected this. Okay, let's go back again and look at what is the next question. The next question over here is actually the client would also like to know the age of the agents from the agent's date of birth that we have just created. So how can we show this? Let's do it. This one is going to be a little bit tedious because we have to write the M code to do this. So we want to use Power Query 100% to have our transformation done. So else would have actually done this with date div in Power BI using DAX. So let's do it over here. Go to add column. From add column, you go to custom column. So now we have a custom column here. So I'm going to put age as the name. And over here, we can start writing our M code. So date is date dot year. So date dot year over here. So open bracket. Date time, I presume. Yeah. Date time dot local now. So I think I have it. So date time dot local now. Let's remove from here. So here we go. So date time dot local now. So for that place here, I'm going to open and close bracket, and finally I close this. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, we have just gotten this, and what this does is to give us, the current date. So let's go ahead and commit this and see what's going to happen. So we are having an error. So let's fix it. Go back here. So over here, I'm going to subtract my what? Subtract my date of birth from it. this one here. So I'm going to click on insert, and let us look at the syntax over here. Is it correct? So click on OK. Okay, we should fix this somehow. What is going on? So let us look at the error here to know what is going on. So expression error, the name, date. Oh, sorry. This should be date, not data. I wrote data. And if you have done the same thing, let's go and actually edit it. So over here, I click on this. I have to change this one to what? To date, not data dot year. If I click on this, or let's say, okay, date year. So now date year, I think I'm missing something. Why you think? Yeah, when subtracting, we don't just subtract directly. So this is what you do. You do date dot year, this one right here. So open brackets, and inside it is when you call this one and insert it, then you close it back. So with this now, we should be 100% good to go. Okay, we still have something missing. M code is crazy cold, right? Let us just put this on calculator. Maybe some kind of case sensitive. I've not tried this before, but it's gonna just fix everything for us. Okay, let's do this. Oh, nicely done. So it's case sensitive. Make sure you put everything in uppercase. It will definitely work for you. So right now we have just gotten the age of our, agent. So we can put this on number, whole number. So here we go. Nicely done. That transformation is 100% done for us. So we can go ahead and look at exactly what it is that we need to do again. So we have just completed this particular one here. Let's go back up. So let us see what is needed in the ticket table. The first thing in the ticket table is that the client requires the canvas settings. So that one will be Power BI. So the client would like the columns, severity and priority to be split into two columns, creating an ID and classification column. Example, severity here, key column 0 should be unclassified. So I think it's easy to get this done. Let's go ahead and do that. So click on ticket and let's get to here. Okay, now we have this. We have to split them, and one should be ID while the other one should be our main classification. What we need to do is to have it highlighted and go to home, and we go to split by the limit split delimiter, or split column rather, then choose by delimiter, and our delimiter is dash, so we just go ahead and look for that. Do we have that here? If you can't find it quickly, use the custom and put it right in. So once you have done that, just click on OK. Wow, nicely done. So we're going to call this one ID, while this one is the severity. So severity ID here. ID. So take off these two we have over here off. So the next thing again is the priority. We do the same thing to it. We just quickly use by delimiter, and we choose to go for this, and we have dash in here, and click on OK. It will definitely be splitted for us. So we're going to call this one ID, and we take off the 2 from here. We don't want the 2 to be here. So 100% correct. So we are done with that. When we go back again, it says the average resolution time is 4.5 days. Please take note of this particular 4.5 days here. So the client would like to create a new column where if the resolution time is above 3.5 days, it should be, I'm going to copy this part here, SLA. And if it is below, it's going to be within SLA. So this will allow the client to push for all calls to stay within the limit. So let's do that. So let us look for the column where we have that in, and where is the average? Search for it. Okay, fine. So here is actually resolution time. So here is satisfaction rate, and this column is blank. Where is it coming from? So all those blank columns here, we just have to get them off. The dashboard you're watching is part of our full video course on DAX. This course has taken you from the scratch to the advanced level on how to write DAX and think, when it comes to writing logic to actually pull information from data. So this course will definitely help you to do that. If you're very interested, this is the right course for you. So using the link we have provided for this course, you can actually check out our other courses right here, and whatever suit you need, please sign up. So on the resolution time here, if I open it, so you can see this is what it is. So what we're going to do now is to add a new column. So conditional column. So in this conditional column, we are going to name this one resolution status. Resolution status. Okay. So we're going to check it if the resolution days here is greater than or equals to 3.5. So remember we copied something. It's within SLA, or we can actually say outside SLA. That is exactly what we were asked to create. So we've done that. So I'm going to put this one on text, data type. So let us look at what we've done. We have two of them existing here, right? Let's find out. Okay, something seems not to be okay here. Let's go back to this, and let's look at, we are looking for greater than, not greater than or equal to. So let's click on it this time around. So let's find out if it's correct. Okay, it seems still giving us one single outside SLA. That means something is wrong. We have to fix that. So how do you fix this? First of all, I'm going to take off this step, and as well this step, I don't want to say it. So we might have what I call space, and space, as you know, is a character. So what we can do now is to go over to transform here, and you click on this particular format. So you use the clean or the trim. I might want to use the clean. So that cleans the space I have, if there is any space, because we can't see space, right? And space is treated as a character by the machine. So what I'm going to do right now is just to make sure I turn this into a whole number, right? And I'll go and add a new column by now. So we can just leave it at custom first. Let's see if that is true. If it is greater than 3.5, that is 3.5. So we should see outside SLA, else we still within SLA. Okay, let's try this. So beautiful, this one is correct. So that you can see what it is, right? So let's see, we have outside SLA and within SLA. That is nice. So we can now rename this over here to be some kind of resolution status. And we have to change it to text. So when you encounter any problem and you are sure of your result and you're not seeing the result you are actually looking forward to seeing, all you have to do is to actually try as much as you could to clean. So we were asked to do that in this agent, part here, and we forgot that. Let's see where it talks about that. So over here, it says name and last name column must be capitalized first words and trimmed. So which means we will ask to trim this too. We will ask to trim it. So always do that on transform to stay within. So you go over here and use the trim. So both trim and clean, they do something similar. So whatever trim cannot handle, clean will definitely do that. So they always remove characters that we cannot see, which is space character. Okay, now we have achieved this right now. So what is next? Let's visit back where we're getting this information from. Okay, we have done that, and that is the final thing we need to do. So what is next? The next thing now is to actually push this data into Power BI, and that is where our next step starts from. So go ahead and close and apply. All right, we have our tables completely, imported into Power BI. If we go over here now, we can see ticket and agent table here. So we have this other table called measure table. So what we did was for it to just write a DAX that actually created a table for us. If I click on it, you see the measure written. Go ahead and do the same thing. It's going to actually create this particular table for you. So with that, you can actually organize all the measures you're going to be writing in the course of this dashboard creation. So our final result is something you have seen in the preview of this course. So now here we go. We want to create something that looks like this, and we want to create something that looks exactly like this one that is opening up right now, like this one with its tooltip, everything that we have right here. We're going to create all this. So finally, we are going to be creating something that definitely look like this. So we're going to start from here to create this. So let us define exactly what this is, what we're trying to actually convey to the end user using this. So I'm going to take you to my whiteboard here. All right, here we come. Those are most of the KPIs we are going to be tracking, like the total ticket, average resolution time, percentage of SLA compliance. When I talk about SLA compliance, I'm talking about, those one within SLA that we have created in Power Query, if you watch that particular part. And the non-compliance, which is the one outside the SLA. So you're going to understand it when the time comes. And after all that, we are going to be creating a heat map. And this heat map will definitely explain to us total ticket by age. We have those agents that are young and we have the older agents. So we want to see the total ticket on a heat map. Heat map gives you exactly, patterns and trend. And it's going to be specific to like what your client will understand. So give them what they will understand. Don't give them what they cannot actually interpret immediately they look at it. So we are going to do that to that of age and year, age and month and year. We're going to be creating a heat map for that. And that thing is for we to add some couple of sliders like severity, satisfaction label, and agent segment. For the agent segment, I'm talking about age segments. For the age segment here, we have not done that. And the satisfaction label, we have not done that. We're going to be doing all of this with DAX. And those are things we've learned in the course. We're going to actually put them to practice to create this project. So let's get back to our Power BI. The first measure to create is our total ticket. So how do we know the total ticket? And that will definitely be in the ticket table. If I open this and I go for the ticket table right here, so here is where we're going to have our total ticket. So we don't have a specific column that recorded the total ticket, but every single row is a particular ticket. So we're going to do a count rows over here. So let's get back. Now we hit our measure table, which we have created. So inside here, we can go ahead and create a new measure. And this measure will be called total ticket. So name it whatever you like, but make sure it actually suggests its meaning. So right here, I'm going to put total ticket. So using count rows. So we're counting the rows of our ticket table. which is this one, and we just close and hit enter. That is all. The next thing you have to do is for you to make sure you format it as comma separator. So just hit the comma separator over here, and that would be added for you. So let us create our average resolution time. So we're going to be using the average function to do this, and we already have our resolution time, a column in the ticket table. So we're going to be doing that. So we just do resolution, and we have it. So you can see it over here. So we just go ahead and close this, right? So hit your enter key, and that will definitely give you what you want. So the next one we're going to do right now is the SLA, and what we want to do on that is actually creating a percentage for that. So we have compliance and we have non-compliance. So we have different ways to do this. We can decide to use our existing measure to do this, or we actually create everything in one single measure. So let's do SLA. So we create a new measure over here. So that is SLA compliance percentage. So we do divide. So we do divide, and inside our divide, we can do count rows. So already we have it, but I just want to show you how you can do this in case you don't have a measure that has this already. So we can do count rows, and in these count rows, we're going to filter. So what are we trying to filter? We filter the resolution column inside the ticket table. Sorry. So when we want to filter, it's looking for a table, and the table is ticket. So comma, it's looking for filter expression. For the filter expression, which column? We go for resolution. Status. Here, where it is equal to within. Within what? Within SLA. So we close this. So close this, and we close our count rows. So next again is for we to hit our comma, because we are trying to create a percentage. So we divide this by what? Trying to check there. By the ticket. So total ticket, which is this one here. And finally, we close our divide function. When we hit our enter, we have this. We have learned about filter function, and we have learned about count rows function in this course. It's not something new again for you to understand exactly what is going on right here. So I'm going to show you another way to do the same thing we have done now. Watch it. So first of all, what I'll do is just to bring this into a card and go ahead and have it formatted into a percentage. So right now it's not a percentage. So I'm going to have this one shut, close this one. So go over here, click on this, and format it to a percentage. So here we go, 48%. So let us do the same thing we have done right now in a different way for non-compliance. So all I'm just going to do is to copy this particular part right here and create a new measure. So let us paste this in, and instead of we calling this one compliance, it's going to be none. So non-compliance. So over here, what I'm going to do is to use the calculate function, and in the calculate function, we go for our total ticket, comma is looking for filter. So we don't need to use a filter function for this. So we can straightly go to resolution status here. So where it is equal to outside SLA. So we have this. So do you see this now? So if we do this and we hit our enter key right now, it's only going to extract from the total ticket and give us for outside SLA. But we don't want this. I'm going to push this into a card and now it's going to show us just number. So what we want to create is a percentage, not actually number. So how do we convert this one to a percentage? Very interesting. So over here, this particular part that you see here now is what retrieve for us this very one. Sorry, exclude the divide. So this particular part retrieve us this one and we use it to create our percentage. So if we go back here now, what we're going to do is to actually use our divide function over here. Divide. So this, we now hit our comma, shift enter. So we divide it by the total ticket and we close our division and we hit our enter key. This would automatically be converted to a percentage for us. So now we have one. Let's go ahead and do this. So as you can see, we have 52% right here. So if you plus 52% plus this one here, it's going to give you 100%. So if you don't have 100%, the reason why we are saying this is because we don't allow decimal places, right? I'm going to put it 2 decimal places right here for you to see it better. Okay, can you see it's 51, but approximately it's 52, and that is exactly what you need to know. So we have just created this, and that is absolutely what we want. So the next thing right now is for we to actually organize those particular KPI we have created before we further go into the next level. Okay, I'm going to get this total ticket. I want to get my average resolution time. So all of this. So we're going to leave their sizes on 40. So let's check it out. What is this current size? We have them. So the font size is on 45. So we're going to put them on 40, and you can do them all at once by actually selecting all of them at the same time. And you put them on 40 instead of 45. So 40 is okay. That is better. So the next thing now is for you to arrange them. So I can just do something like this. So if I want to use the same size, just like what I have right now. So if I want to use the same size, let's do something open it up like this. So if I want to use this size, what I would do now is to come over here to style and size. You can see 104 by 294. So I'm going to hold my control. So 104 by 294. 294. So here is 104. So now you have it. So all I need to do is to come over here and have this at the top level here. So that is my total. For the average, I'm going to have this one here. Then for this compliance, I'm going to have it over here. So I'm going to shift this one to the side, shift this one, then finally shift this one. Then I'm going to have this one over here. So what I'm going to do right now is to hold my control key and select all of them at the same time. So go to your format over here and align. So you can just click on align top, and we have to distribute horizontally, and that gives you equal spacing right here. You see that? Interesting. Okay, we have done this. The next thing we have to do right now is to create our heat map. How do we go about a heat map? So to create a heat map, you will need to select this particular matrix. So we have our matrix. We can just, make it as big as we want for now. Later, after all, we reduce it. So we go over to where we have our data, or we can click on the row aspect and the column aspect to have what we want to have. So on the row aspect here, we want to have the age. And that will be under the agent right here. Under the agent, we have the age. So the age on the row, and on the column, we want to have the year. So this is where we have some kind of handicap on what to do. So we don't have a calendar yet. So how do we get that? So we have to create a calendar, and I'm not going to do that from the scratch because in this course, we have looked at how to create a calendar, but this one here is a bit different. I'm going to show you how this one is done. different from what we have done before. Let's go ahead and copy the previous code. So over here is my calendar, and I can just copy this code here and show you how to work with it. So let's go back here. Inside here, we go to the table view. I want to see what I'm doing. So let's get down to the table view. So we create a new table. New table. So if you've learned very well on the date section, this wouldn't be any problem to you. So I'm going to paste this over here. Now we have it. So we can zoom it. So if you look at it, it cannot find date. So what is the problem? We need to go ahead and fix this. So if I hit my enter key right now, we're going to have a problem. So before I come over here to correct this for you, let's hit the enter key for we to have access to go and change something that will definitely allow this to work the way we want. So we obtain some errors. So I'm going to go over to ticket. So you can see on my ticket table, the date column is not actually a date. It's called fecha. I don't know, maybe it's Spanish. What I'm going to do right now is to double click on it and change it to date. That is good. So by the time we go back to our calendar table, it must have been fixed by now. Sorry, yeah, calendar table here. Yeah, it's 100% fixed. So if you remembered when we created our date table in the course, we did something like variable max, variable min, and all of that. So we did something similar to that right here, where we extract the main date from what? From the this column here in our ticket table, and we extracted the max date from the same column in this ticket table. And what we did is to actually use variable to say number of days is max minus min plus 1, and we are using that to generate our calendar here, and that will definitely make us to only restrict the column that this particular date table fetches the start date and the end date from to be from this particular ticket table. Very simple and very easy. I don't know which one is simpler. Maybe the previous one you have learned about, or this one I'm just showing you right now. For all of those columns, they are what you can actually enter yourself and all of that. So I'm going to give you this particular code, and all you just need to do is to paste it and make sure this particular column here matches the column you have in your tickets, table, right? And all of that. So once you have done this, the next thing you have to do is to always make sure you mark as what? Mark as a date table. So we come over here, we click on date. So successfully, so we click on OK. So after that, we are good to go. But one more thing, we need to actually make sure we go to our month. So here is our month, and we sort our month by month number. So do we have the month number here? Let us look for it. Where the heck is it? I think this is the month number here. So we just go over here and say sort by month. That is sorted for you. So this is all we need over here. So after that, we can now go back here now and check our relationship to see if our relationship has been, done. So I'm going to close this. What the heck is going on? Why am I? Okay, it's fixed. So for the calendar, it has no relationship yet. So let's move this away. And I'm going to have this one closed to create more space. So this one should stay here. And I want to take my main transactional table at the bottom. So while the date table comes in here. So here's our ticket table. If I go ahead and link this to my ticket table, let's see what we're going to have as a relationship. So we have many to one relationship. So do we need to actually link this to our agent table? No. We don't need to do that. Just leave it the way it is. If you try to do that right now, you are going to obtain one-to-one relationship. So don't just go there. So we are good to go. So we can come back here now. The next thing we do is for we to actually add what? Add our, our column. So for the column, we need to get a year from our calendar. And we scroll down, we get our year for our column. So here we go. We have the year on the column aspect here. So the next thing right now is for we to go for the value area. So under the value, what we want is to get the total ticket. And we're going to get that in our measure table. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. So we have this, so we have to do some cleaning to make it look very well organized. So before we start to talk about the color, let me show you the website where I used to get my color from. So I'm going to take you to a browser. So over this browser, we have this particular Adobe color. So it's called color.adobe.com. So always click on the explore here and it's going to present you with this particular page where you can see the default color available. So we are not interested with what we have here as default colors. So you can make your own search of color. Like you want to see something like blue here. So you can give a space and you search for something like let's say light blue. So we can search for something like light green. So once you hit your enter, it's going to mix the color for you and you can choose from the lots of colors it's going to pour out to use, all of that. This is what we have. So you can scroll down to choose from all of those colors, anyone that you think is actually cool for you. So let's say we want to go with something like this one. So all you have to do is to don't click any of those icons, just click outside the icon, but within here. So once you click on it, you're going to have this. So the color code here will be what you're going to use and it will give you the exact color you have chosen. So I have already gotten my color completed. So let me show you the color. So over here in PowerPoint, I've selected these 4 colors we have right here to be used. And those are the colors we are going to use right now. So how do I pick it? I'm going to come here now and definitely right click and go over to this format shape. So open your PowerPoint, you're going to see this. So just try to get the data or the color rather. So go over here and click on this. So click on more colors and all you have to do is to color the hex, just pick the color hex code. So copy. So now we can head back to our Power BI here. So now we are here. So we want to make sure we go over to this part and turn off our column subtotal. So we turn off our row subtotal. So we are left with this. Interesting. The next thing we're going to do is for we to make sure we go over to just scroll down and you see this particular cell element here. So scroll down again. So you see this particular background color. So just make sure you turn it on. And this is what you have. So we want to see, what do I call it? We want to see some kind of pattern. We are not interested in the color, but we want to see where or which age has the highest, highest numbers of ticket within the year. So how do we go about that? So I want to change the color we have right here, but let's watch it. So we're going to choose this particular FX. So once we are here, we need to actually add a middle color. So over here, I want to use white. For the lowest color, I want to use white. So for the middle color, I want to use something like this. And remember, we copied a particular color code. So we're going to come here and go to more colors and paste in the hex code we copied into here. And it gives us this. So right now, if I click on my OK, so this is what I am going to have. Can you see it now? So I'm not interested in those numbers. How do I make those numbers to disappear? So we go for where it says, font color. So we turn the font color on and it's still appearing a little bit. So we go over to the FX. We repeat the same thing over here. So white and always make sure you remember to choose the same color and we paste in the same hex code over here. And with that, we have just gotten this created. Can you see it right now? So I can just make this smaller. So I'm going to bring this down for the time being. Later, after all, we look at how we can control it. So I'm going to create a copy of this, paste it down. So I'm going to move the copied one over here. So let me expand it a little bit for we to see something. Okay, now we have to change what we have here. instead of year, we want to see month. So we go over to year. So right here is the year. We choose month name. So we have the month name here. So with this now, this is not the color we are looking for. This is not the color we want to use. We want to use a different color for this. So how do we go about this? So over here, we show ticket, and over here, we're going to try to show resolution time. So I'm going to change the measure from total ticket to resolution time. So total ticket, and I'm going to go for resolution, average resolution time. So now here we go. So we have to go back to our PowerPoint, and now we copy the code of this one. So we go all the way back. So we do the same thing. So we go scroll down. So we come over here. Add in the middle one. We choose to use white for the lowest one. And we can choose the same color. But over here, we're going to choose this very color we've just copied. And that is okay. So we need to make the text disappear or the numbers disappear. We turn on this and we go over here. We follow the same thing. We choose this and we come over here. We choose this, and over here we paste in the color code or the hex code. So it's going to give us something like this. So can you see it now? So wherever you have the highest, the brighter color, as in that, like this color now means in this month the average resolution time is high compared to this one and this other one and all of that. So we can just keep it this way. For now, we're going to arrange all of this later after all, but we just need to create all of this first. So I'm going to create a copy of this copy and we paste it down. So now here, we are going to show where we have month. We want to show year, and where we have age, we want to show month. So how do we switch that? So month for year. And age for month. Age for month. So we switch it. It looks just like this. So this is what we want. Can you see this now? So we have just gotten this done, and this is exactly what we want to do. So the remaining thing now is for we to actually see how we can actually format this to look very nice and organized, just like what you have seen in the previous or in the finished one. But for now, we have just finished our work in terms of creating this. Okay, I would love to turn this one to average as well. I don't want to show total ticket by this here. So let's use the same average over here. So we go here. So we select average resolution time for it. Okay, so for that, we have to go by the same color we've used before. So let me quickly go ahead and get it. So let's just scroll down here. So turn on all of this and we add new. So we go over here, quickly paste in the color I've just copied. And over here, we click on OK. So we go over to this one for we to make the text disappear. We do the same thing. Always try as much as you could to remember the color you are using. That will help a lot. So we paste in the same thing over here. So, and lastly, we don't want to use the same color for this one and this one. So we want to change the color, and let me show you the color I'm going to use. So I would like to use this color. So we quickly copy the color from here. So remember, you are not restricted to those color I'm using. You can decide to use your own color if you think you can make a better design than me. So please don't restrict yourself to what I'm doing. So I'm going to come over here and change the color for this. So just come here, and this is the only color I'm going to change. So just paste this one over here, click on OK. So go over here and do the same thing. Just click on this one here, and do the same thing. So this is what we have. So later, after all, we'll now see how we can actually get this better. So for this, I want to show just month, not month name. So what I'll do to edit that is to come over here and double click over this part here and remove the name from here. Then once you hit your enter key, it's going to give you what you want. Don't always forget to save your work. It's very important. So we have not saved. I'm going to save this right now. And it's highly important. Always save, because sometimes Power BI can just shut down. So I'm going to save this one to dashboard, IT, and that is all. Now let us quickly format this. So the very first thing I would love to do is to go to the value area, and I will just change this font type to this one. So it looks more bolder, and that is okay. We're just going to use 10, leave it that way. So let us go to the height and weight here under the size and position. So click on this. So for the height, we want to use 475, which is 475. So I want to do that by 296 here, 296. So we should do the same thing to this one. So 475, 296, 296. So we have the same height. I think the weight is not the same weight. The weight should be 515. That will be 515. So nice weight. So we scroll down to the value. We come here, we choose this to make it pop out more. So now we are onto this one. So we don't have more data here. So we're going to do 357 for the height. So 357, and we do that by 352. 352 here, something like this. So as you can see, we can now see we have to drag this to this level. So keep a white space here, a little white space here, and all we have to do now is just to click on this one, hold your Ctrl key to click on this, and finally you click on this one here. Then we have to go to format. So we align and we distribute, distribute horizontally. Yeah, sure. So for this particular party to be decided, I think, okay, we can just make sure we move this down. Move it down a bit. Yeah, white space at the bottom is very important. So the white space here is important. So for this particular part, we're going to be filling it with slicer. So all you have to do is to click on this one. And the very first thing you have to do is to place your cursor here and make this to move. So once you have this cross, you could do it this way. Just be patient and take time to adjust all of this. So we want to fill up this particular space, and finally we get here and we fill up this space. You get it? So this is what we want. So with this, we're good to go. So we're going to move this up for now. Okay, let's see. So we need to create a template that this is all a background for this. So for now, what we're going to do is just to go over to our snippet tool. So if you're using Windows, you can just search for snippet tool on your window and get it or take a screenshot of this. So I'm going to take a screenshot from here to cover this particular part, and I release it. So the next thing is for me to go to File, then Save As. Then I go over to anywhere I save everything. I can just save. So it's on my desktop. I'm going to pick it up from there. So we can go ahead and close this. So we're going to be using this to create how this is going to look like. Okay. So we want to make here to be beautiful, right? Let's go over to PowerPoint. So here we are in our PowerPoint environment. I'm going to have to duplicate this. It's okay. Isn't the first one. So the very first thing I'm going to do is those colors are what I'm going to use. So I'm going to try to bring in my template here. So click on insert and I'm going to go picture this device. So I go to desktop, scroll down. So make sure this one fits here exactly. Don't let it extend. And we do this. So now I'm going to send this to back, send to back. So I have those colors here. Okay, now quickly we have to do it. So I'm going to select all of those colors here. Exclude this one, select just those color. Go over to shape format. And over here you see this particular part. So want to make it 6.41 by 2.65. So 2.65. Yeah, 2.65. Let's see. No, instead we make this one 2.65. And we'll come here and make this one 6.41. Something like this. It's cool. So I'm going to place this one over here. So creating space for the top level for we to have space for our other things we want to have, like the title. So I'm going to get this, arrange it accordingly. So get this one. And finally, we get this right here. So we want to make sure that this is some kind of equally justified. So we go to formats, we go to align and align horizontally, and this is cool. So we need to have some icon here. I have already gotten my icons. I'm going to show you where I used to get my icon from in case you will need that. So this particular flat icon.com here would be a good place for you to search for different icons. So I'm not going to search for any icon right now. As you can see, I've picked this icon before. Let's go ahead and see where we can actually get the icon and bring it right here. So if you have the icons downloaded, go to where you have it in. So we go over to so here we go. So I'm going to pick all of those icons from here. Let's insert them. So I can just make them smaller. Okay. So for my ticket, I'm going to have this one here. So you can see it's still some kind of huge. So I can just reduce them. I want to keep them on the same size. So just make something like this. I think this will be cool. So now this will be here. So I want to get this clock and push it over here. So I'm going to get this one and push it over here. Then finally, then this one will be here. So for this one, we don't have the need for now. So I'm going to cut it and paste it here. So when the need comes, we'll pick it up. So this is what we need to do over here. So we still have one more thing to go. So let's double this, Ctrl D. And all I have to do is to make sure I make something like this. I'm going to stretch it across here. Okay. So this way. So I want to use the gradient. And I just want to use 3 stops. So remove one and have one over here and one in the middle. So for the first one, I'm going to click on the color and use the eyedropper to pick this color. So the middle one here, use the eyedropper to pick this color. And finally, we get this one. I'll use the eyedropper to get this very color here. So I think I should insert the 4th one. Let us insert the 4th one here. So use the eyedropper to get this color. So I don't want what I have now. So I want to come here and change how it looks. So let's see what something like this would look like. You know, we're using this. Okay. I will take off this top. So I think I like something like this. This looks some kind of cool for me. I will change to this one. So it's more calm. Okay. It's better this way. So double this and bring it over here. So give it a little space like this. And I'm going to move this just down. So for the curveness, I don't want it. I'm going to take it off. Just make it this way. Okay. Then we stretch it to this end. Here we go. So all I have to do is to choose this. But this time around, I just need 2 stops. I'm going to take this one off. So for this particular part here, I'm going to choose to use this. And for this part, I want to choose to use white. So something like this is okay. I think it's not dark enough. I want to make it a bit darker. Let me choose the color for it. So let us use this color code here. There we go. So it's EAEA3. And once we close, so I love the darkness. You can insert another one that takes the same color. So here's the color. I pick it. I think I'll have something like this. So all I'm gonna do is just Ctrl D to duplicate it, and I'm gonna bring this one over here. So now I copy this to this end, and it stopped here. So I have this one duplicated, and this time around, here we go. So I can just stretch this, and here we have it. So let's go over to insert and shapes. I will pick this one here. So this time around, so the rounded corner will be not much. So I'm going to place it over here and have a space at the top a little, not really much. So make sure it covers to this end as well. So we stretch it to this way. Something like this will be nice. So once we are done with this, I'm gonna go ahead to over here. So I'll choose this one that has its offset at the top, and I'm gonna reduce it. For the color, we're gonna use white color. And for the outline, I'm gonna take off the outline, then right click and send it to back. Okay, now it is time for me to get this off. So it's gone. So we are left with this. So I can go here and add more shadow. So let us, the transparency, reduce something like this. Okay, this is cool. This is what we have, and we can use this. So the next thing we're going to do right now is to go to File and go to Export and choose the file type. So I'm going to use PNG. So double click on the PNG or JPEG, depends on what you want. So find a place where you want to have this saved in. So quickly we create, go over here, and I'm going to save this one as background 01. So we save this, just this one. So next is for we to go back to Power BI. We are here. Don't select anything. If you select something like a chart or a card, you see the formatting that you can have for this. But select a blank space and you're going to have this. So go to the canvas background. So click on it and click over this particular browse to browse the picture. And now we go over to this. Here we go. So we can't find it. So until we'll turn this one into 0% instead of 100%. So now this is what we have. So if you look at it, we have the color to cover up this the white background we have over this to cover it up. So can just select size and style, then remove it. So this is what we have. It is time for we to get something clean. So over here, the color that will pop out is actually going to be white. So let's take care of that. So I'm just going to set this one, set it to so let's select them at once and go over here and change it to white. So awesome. So we go over here now, this one as well. So we should look for something much brighter. This one will be okay. So for this one, the black we have on this is really cool. So we can resize it to sit well. Just resize it and make sure you have this. So what I'm going to do now is to just go over to format after you selected them and you align tab. So you have them like this. Okay, nicely done. So some kind of not really cool here. So for this one to be fixed, what we can do now is to go over to our PowerPoint. So we can come over here and select. So use your arrow to the left to move it a little bit. Move it so. And we can just move them up a little bit as well. Okay. So all we need to do is to export and choose the same file size and just replace the previous one. Yes, and just this one. So if we go back now, we can go ahead and remove it, then replace it with our new save. So here we go. You can see the space here is nice and okay. Okay, let's talk about this one. Here we have to select all of this, including this very one here, and turn off the background we have. So it's been turned off. So that will reveal the background behind it and to make it much more beautiful. Okay, after that, the next thing you're going to do is to go back to our PowerPoint. And this color here is what we're going to pick, which is the color on this one. I'm going to pick it. I want to pick the exact color. So go to custom. On this part, you can copy. So let's hit back to our Power BI. Okay, now if I click on this, I should be able to do multi-selection on this. So I will go to value. So here is my value. And on the value area, we have the background. I think the background right now is on white. I would love to choose the background to be on this color. I'm going to paste in here. So I'll choose the alternate background as well. So that will reflect exactly the color we have over this. I think that should be done by now. So alternate background. It doesn't solve it. So let me choose this color, this one here. It should be able to match the background I have. Okay, I think it does. And I'm going to do the same thing to this particular one here. Oh no. So we do the same thing. No, too much. We go with this. This one should reflect this one. Then this one should reflect the same thing. Why is this alternate background color is taken off? Okay, I think I get it. Let's go with this. Okay, maybe what we need to do is to do them at one after the other. So let me click on this one and come over, scroll down a little bit, and over here we paste in the code we've copied, which is this one here. It should solve the problem. So now, as you can see, it does. So we go over to this one as well. Maybe that is what it wants. So we go over here and we paste in the same code over here. So it does work. So we come over here as well, do the same thing over this one. So nicely done. So all we have to do right now is that I want to close this particular gap I have here. You know what it is. So just come over here and place your cursor here to expand this and expand this as well. So until you see the cross before you do that. So finally we get this done. And that will give us a nice fit. So we're going to do the same thing over to this particular part. You can just open it up a little bit. And over here, we don't want no scroll. So we just have to make sure once that come up, the cross, we just fit it. And we come over here. This is okay. Okay, nicely done. So I'm going to push the value of this one to 13. So now I can just bring my scroll down a little bit. And once I've done that, I'm just going to come here to take off the bottom scroll and it's gone. I have something like this. So next is for me to actually have something here that we can use to slice it. And we've not created that. So let's quickly go ahead and create it and see how that is going to look like. Before we go, we have one more. We've done for this particular row aspect. What about the column? So we quickly go ahead and click here. So let's go for the column. So column header. So for the column header, we need to change the color. I think this is the color. Nicely done. So we can do multi-selection, of course. Hold your Ctrl key to do that. So choose the same column header for them. Oh, nicely done. So love it. So we have something like this. The next thing we have to do is to get back to the table view, and let's click on our, I think that is going to be our IT agents. So on the IT agent table, we have a column called age. So this age ranges from 24 over to 50 something, if I'm not mistaken, or to almost 60. So what we are going to do right now is to actually try to create a segment and segment some of those particular people to like youthful agent, which is the most youngest agent we have working with us. And we have old agents and we have older agents. So we want to create these buckets to see which of those three buckets actually has the highest resolution or rate or ticket and all of that. So let's do that. So over to Power BI desktop. Over here, we are now going to our IT agents. So here is the column I'm talking about. So we have this column here. So we need to create a new column now. I'm going to click here and create a new column. So in this new column, we're going to use switch and true, which we have learned in our course previously. It's not something new to you again. You can do this without even looking at it. So I believe a lot of us watching right now must have known how to do this without me even typing a single code here. You must have known or visualized what it is the result is going to be like. Okay, I'm going to say age segment. For the age segment here, I want to use switch and true, comma. So we can say if IT agent age. So if IT agent age here is less than or equal to 15 years. So we want to categorize those agent in this particular bucket into youth, youthful agents. So otherwise IT age here is less than equal to 45, then comma, we want to categorize them into old agents, else we want to categorize the remaining one into older agents. So we are done. We'll close our switch, and once we hit our enter key, we are going to have what we have just asked for. Okay. Oh, sorry, this is not 15, it should be 35. 35, we don't have any age on less than 35, I think less than 20 something, we don't have at 15. So let's see what we have. So 34 should be, 30 should be, 35, yes, as you can see, the old agent is 45 because it's within, and the older is 50, so you can see nicely created. So we're going to be using this on our filter here. So what we'll do is to insert if slicer. Inside this slicer, we locate what we've just created, or the calculated column inside our agents, and that's gonna be this one. So we have it. So once you click on this now, it actually filter our dashboard for us. That is exactly what we have it for. So we don't want to leave it this way. What we want is for we to go ahead and get to format this slicer. So I'm going to get into here, and the first thing is for me to choose the tile style. I love that. I'll bring it down here. So I'm going to take off the header. We don't want that. I'm going to create my own header myself, and I can stretch this to this level. Something like this would be cool. So if I go to value, I'll scroll down and I will go to background here. I'll scroll down and I'll choose to use this color that is on my dashboard for this. And for this one, I'm going to choose white color. So I can choose something bolder. So using this one will be very cool. That is beautiful. So nicely done. Okay. So once we have this, we need to have a header for it. And for the header, we just need to go ahead and create a text box here. So inside the text box, what we're going to do is to say filter by each segment. So filter by each segment. So we have to make sure it's bold. So let's use 12. And let's select a different one. Comic Sans MS here will be okay. I think 18 will be cool. So if it is not too much, we can always adjust it. So I'm going to push it in the middle. So let's bring it over here. So stretch this one. Then for this one here, so let's reduce it to 16. Okay, fine. So the next thing now is for we to change the color. So for the color, I might want to use one of my colors from here. So I want to go with this this color. So we need to get it code. So let's come here and copy the color code or the hex code. So we go back. So now we're back here. So go to the background. Once you click on size and style, you see the background here, open it up and come over here to paste in the new code you have just copied over here. And that gives you this. So this color is cool, but I think it's not giving me what I want. But if you think you would like it this way, all you have to do is to go over to here Control A to highlight the content inside it, and go here to change the color to white. So perfectly done. I think not really cool. So I'm going to change the color. So let's do some kind of test run. I don't just agree with one single color. So you test it and see if it fits what you want. Fine. If it doesn't, you change it. Okay. We go back here. Now if I click on it, I can have the ability to change my color over here. Okay. What about this? This is cool. So if you look at it now, we have it, and we can quickly add our slider from here. Just click on anyone, older agents, and you want to see the performance, and you can now see the older agent falls between 47 to 52. And if I click on the old agents, it falls between 36 to 45. It's about 45. And if I click on the youthful agent, so it's actually between 27 to 35 right here. Can you see it now? This is exactly what it is. So you can now see where we have high, average resolution rate is high here. You can see the color. This is exactly what we want to do. So if you want to clear the filter, just click on the filtered one, and it will definitely clear the filter for you. So we have more sliders to be added. So now what I'll do is to click on this one and have it duplicated. So just come here, copy and paste it down. So you go over here and move it. So once you have it moved, the next thing you're going to do right now is for you to actually get in what you want right here. So the very first thing I want is to actually get the severity here. So I'm going to go right here. So click on this and go to my ticket, scroll down. So you can see this we created the other time ID for it. So now we have this. We don't want it to be on this. We want to use a drop down because of where we want to have it right in. So quickly we go back and choose to use drop down. Can make it a bit smaller. So we bring it over to the top level here. So the next one again is for we to get satisfaction rate. And for satisfaction rate is what we don't have right away. So how do we create our satisfaction rate? We need to get that. So let's copy this very one and paste it and go and create the satisfaction rate for this. We don't have it already. So we have to go to data view or table view rather. So, and we don't need to be on the agent table, or we have to be on the ticket table. So inside the ticket table, we can see if I scroll to the right hand corner, we have the satisfaction rate here. And if I click on it, we have from 1 to 5. So 5 means very satisfied, 4 means satisfied, 3 means neutral, 2 means dissatisfied, and 1 means very dissatisfied. So how do we create that? So we don't have all this in what we are given. I'm talking about when we come here, or most of what we are doing now are not given right here, but you have to make your research to know what they all mean before you can be able to give accurately what the client will be looking forward to seeing. And specifically, if you are doing this to a real customer or client, you have to speak to the client, have a meeting with the client to know what a particular column stands for in order for you to be able to pull the information you need to pull out of that particular column, whatever. So now, based on my studies, that was how it should be. So now we need to add a new column. So this column, we're going to call it satisfaction label. So let us call this one satisfaction label. So it's going to be equals. So we're going to just use switch, not switch through, switch here. So with the switch, so what we want now is to actually say if satisfaction rate here, comma, so if satisfaction rate here is actually shift 1, so if it is 1, like is 1 like this, So 1 is very dissatisfied. So inside of quotation, we type very dissatisfied. So we need to have a comma. So if it is 2, it is dissatisfied. So if it is 3, it's gonna be, so we need comma before we put in anything else. So if it is 3, comma, that is neutral. So if it is 4, that is gonna be satisfied. So finally, if it is 5, it's going to be very satisfied. So go ahead and close this. Now, in case let's say this is a live data that will be, or some kind of data that will have more updates. So you might want to create a room for what is not 1 to 5. So what will you do in that case? You can put comma here and shift enter. Inside here, you just type unknown. So that means if it is not between this number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, so whatever comes in again is unknown. So you can hit your enter, all of that. So we've just gotten this done. We're going to be using this in other dashboards, but for now, we just want to use this as a filter. So go back here. So over here, let's get it. So over here, we just have to change this. So go to our ticket. So ticket, we have satisfaction. Where the heck is it? Satisfaction label. Does it mean it's not created? Or no? Let's check it again. Damn it. Okay, it happens many times, and maybe we did not hit the enter key. I don't know how or what happened. So I'm going to do that behind the scene and come back again and show you what it is. There we have it. So let us hit the enter key now before we go back, else it will be disappeared just like the previous one. So make sure you confirm that you have it appeared here before you go back. So now here we have it, and this is the default I'm talking about. So I can just go over here now and bring in our new column. So once you scroll down, satisfaction label is here. So we have it. So we can stretch it. And here we go. Very satisfied. Now it will be filtered to where we have a satisfaction rate to be very satisfied. Oh, sorry, very dissatisfied rather. So this is very satisfied now. You can see that we can go for satisfied. So we can go for dissatisfied, and it will be some kind of filtered, and we'll now see this pattern and all of that. So we should always make sure, I think with this now, we don't want to have a scroll. So we can try to do it with the scroll over here. What can we do in that case? For the scroll over here, I'm going to just, yeah. So I'll stretch this. So double click on this, whatever this thing we did will be disappeared. So we just have to take our time to get this done. So when you double click, it activates the edit mode for you. So you don't have the flexibility to actually, stretch it the way you want. So now it has been done. So for this one here, I move it down. So why am I having this? Okay, let's see what is going on here. While we're having this over here. Okay, this is as a result of what we have selected from here. If I select this now, you see it wouldn't give us that behavior again. So it's okay. So this is exactly what we wanted to actually achieve, and we have just achieved that. So you can see. So now how can we make people to identify what is actually here, or what slicer is for which? So all I have to do now is to come over here and copy this particular one here. So go ahead and copy and paste it. So for the color we have on the background, we don't want it. I'm going to take it off. So let's go over to here and take off the color. So we're left with this. So on this one now, I'm going to type in here filter by severity. So highlight it and change this to black. So we make the size as 10.5 will be okay. So now I can copy and have it pasted here. So I'm going to take this one to this level. Just extend this one. So this one will be filtered by satisfaction, status, or label. Or satisfaction, label. So as you can see, we wouldn't know which one is which. So for that, we have to control it. I'm going to come over here, select this one, and select this one, then move it to the side. So if you look at it now, I can go here and turn off the background I have for this. So we have a background for this one as well. We have to turn it off. Despite that it's setting on white, so we should just do that. So we have something like this. All right, the final thing to make this dashboard to give us exactly the kind of view we're looking for is to actually make sure this is speaking something like it's saying exactly what it is for. Let's go ahead and get this one duplicated. Copy and paste. So first of all, I get this right to this part and stretch it to cover up this level. So it's going to be average resolution time by age and year. So I'll do that. So AVG dot is short of average. So RS resolution. So always put a full stop. Time by age and year. So with this, I'm going to put it on 11. So we need to put it on white to appear very well. Put it on white. So if I step off, we have something like this. So I think I can still crank it up a little bit. Let's do 12. That is beautiful. Nicely done. So one thing I want to do is to highlight this particular part and make sure I use a bold font. So just click on the bold. So it makes it stand out. So you want to draw people's attention sometime to a particular part of your dashboard for them to look at it. So that is what you do. So I'm going to click on it. So we just copy and paste it. And now what I'll do is to keep this right here. I'm going to stretch it to this end. And this one is going to be average resolution time by age and month. Average age and month. Instead of year, I'll put month here. So instead of me keeping this short, there is no point in doing that. So I can do full. So here we go. We're going full. So finally, we get the last one for it. So here it's going to be by month and year. We just change this one to month. So once we are done with this, the next thing I'm going to do now is to actually add circle here to make it look okay. We don't need to do that in PowerPoint. We can just do it over here. Can go here now and choose this circle. So here we go. We have it. Can just make it a bit smaller until we are satiated with what we have, so we can release it and push it to where we want to use it. So I'm going to have it right here. So it's too much. I'm going to reduce it. So have something like this will be very cool for me. So we can manually shift things around if it is not looking cool. So all I have to do right now is to go to shape style and go to fill and fill it up with white. So, and body border, I'm going to fill it up with white. So we just need to do copy and paste and have for other part of it, like this part. Now will be okay. Finally, this one at the edge here. Okay, what I want now is just to make sure I move it up. So if I'm satiated, just like I am now, so all I'm going to do is just to highlight this very one, click on this one to select it as well, select this one and go to format, and you click on align top. Nicely done. So for our text here, it's jumping down. So we want to go ahead and put it in the middle of it like this. So if I've done that, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to make sure I first of all select this one. I think, okay, what you do, once you're doing that, you just do a count. You can do 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3 gave me what I want. So I'll just come over here and make sure I do 1, 2, 3. So this is exactly what it is. So if you look at it now, it's making a lot of sense if you give it a mark with the previous one. So the left thing we are going to do right now is for we to actually create the title or name our dashboard. So we need to do that, highly important. So what I'm going to do now is to just get this one right here. So we just stretch it over here. So stretch this as well, because it's going to be bold. So I'm going to type in here ticket. Ticket performance dashboard. So for my ticket performance dashboard, I'm going to put it at 18. So highlight the content inside it and use 18. So with 18, I'm not much more satiated with this. I might want to change the font. Let's go ahead and use a bolder font like this, right? So I can come here, highlight this part and change its color. It's my choice. I want to go with something like this. Okay, whatever that is going to match the color of the dashboard is something you have to choose. But too bright, I want it to look a little bit darker. So what I would do now is just to click on this part here and I'll just move this. I'll create a dark one for it. So as soon as I'm not leaving, how do I put this? As soon as I'm not introducing a new color, I'm still within my color range. I'm fine, like crazy. I'm fine. So for now, we have this. Let's see what would get in the next one coming up. Let's go here. I'm going to do middle. Okay, that doesn't make sense. So, but it's okay. So Let's go ahead and compare this one to the previous one we've created. So in case you find any difference between this one and that one, just remember I spent a lot of time formatting this, and this is just something I do straight up by, making the record and all of that. So I spent this getting the whole thing done before the recreation to actually give you exactly what I've done. You've just seen exactly what it is right now, how you can actually create something like this from just this, question here telling you to assume a data analyst in this company and make sure you actually provide an actionable insight into the organizational data. So we've just done that part one of it. So we have more to go, but for now, let's see what we'll get in the next one.